Hey guys, it's Charlie. You know, a week or so back, there was all this excitement in the alternative media community because the Patriot Act was voted down. Well, in reality, I came on the radio show the night after the vote that was voted it down, and by that time, it was very clear that this was just another parliamentary trick. It was a controversial piece of legislation, so the committee that it was in needed two-thirds of a supermajority vote to pass. It didn't get that, but it was announced right then and there it'll be brought up again in regular Congress, and they will just need a majority, not a supermajority. And sure enough, last night, 274 to 144, it passed. For another 10-month extension of this liberty-killing document that is never going to go away. It's like the war on terror. It's a fictitious fantasy that you're being sold so we can send military projection around the world to secure supply chain, to secure profits for corporatocracy. This war is never going to end because there's nobody that can surrender. There's no enemy, no homeland that we can invade, no place we can plant our flag and say, look, freedom's reigning here, so we can move on. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me how people can still say to me, send me comments, or people I know in my real life here, that you don't have to worry about it as long as you don't do anything wrong. What the hell happened to the country I grew up in? What the hell happened to the country that our grandfathers died on Omaha Beach in order to defend democracy and defend liberty and defend this republic? It is gone. We don't have it anymore. The citizens are dumbed down. Even the smart ones are dumbed down to think that, as long as I don't do anything wrong, I have to worry about that traffic cam. As long as I don't do anything wrong, I don't have to worry about the FBI looking and having roving wiretaps on me. Even though the DOJ put out a report, the Department of Justice of this government put out a report saying the FBI consistently abuses their ability to go after people's personal information under the Patriot Act. The provisions that were in question were the lone wolf provision. If you were a foreign national in this country, even if you're not affiliated with any terrorist group, they could still surveil you if they deem necessary. The roving wiretaps. Obviously, that's exactly what it says. They can wiretap anybody for any reason as long as it falls under their loose criteria of a threat. And then the library records provision, which is, anything the federal government deems necessary to look into, bank records, visa records, anything that they deem necessary in fighting this war on terror, they can go ahead and do. They got carte blanche. They can do whatever they want because they have a Patriot Act behind them to say that it's okay. This piece of legislation is truly the unraveling of this country. And just when you think that there's hope, just when you think that cooler heads will prevail, when you think some liberty-loving people, regardless of what side of the aisle they're on, are going to step up and do something about it, you're punched in the face and realized that the corporatocracy that runs this country and the world could care less about your political ideology. Left, right, Democrat, Republican, you're neither. You're cattle to them. And if you think for 1 second that you need something to convince you of this, it isn't any book, it isn't any video, it isn't any professor. All you have to do is be a student of current events. We have the absolute most liberal administration this country's had since all the way back to at least Jimmy Carter. And this most liberal administration who was crying for the closure of Gitmo, crying to get this war over with, we got to fight the right war, crying about the Patriot Act when it was expedient during election time to placate a base of cattle on either side. This administration is in full power. And what happens? Extension of the Patriot Act, Gitmo stays open, the war that will never end continues, the longest military engagement in the history of the United States of America still rallies on, people die every single day, and what happens in D.C. today? Warren Buffett receives the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The same Warren Buffett that got the sweetheart bailout deal, $5 billion to Goldman Sachs. He ends up with preferred stock. He ends up with twice the warrants, 7 to 14 times the warrants more than the American people received for their $10 billion donation to Goldman Sachs. This country, what we're living in now, is an absolute modern tragedy. Stories are attached. That's all I got.
Oh, hi. I'm so glad you're on time. I'm V. I'm looking forward to showing you around Plandopolis today. My husband works from home. He's a virtual engineer working on one of the city's desalination plants. He controls the robots who do all the important maintenance. I think he basically plays computer games for a living. You ready to go? Have you got your calorie card open on your smartphone? I registered your visit with Slick Travel Corp the other day, so they've allotted you a journey time to match mine. It makes so much sense, doesn't it? Switch off brain and go to work. With this many people around, I'm glad there's a mega computer in charge. We're so lucky. Our kids were allocated a school quite near my practice, so I can drop them off on the way. It saves on our calorie ration. Well, it won't be long until the little darlings get their career announcements. They've been working so hard, so I'm sure they'll get something good. Not that there's anything wrong with fixing carbon scrubbers for a living or anything. Are you hungry? Let's pop to the market as we're passing. Right, what's on the menu this month? No, not meat. It's not your birthday. The Global Food Council are doing a really good job of keeping food production going. I mean, you don't get the choice you used to, but we're better off than most. I think it's probably easiest to walk from here. You barely see a car in the city centre nowadays, unless you're rich. Well, the state knows they just aren't practical anymore. We're all trying to meet our global carbon deal. Electric bikes are so much better for getting around our neighbourhood. And why waste valuable space on car parks when you can use them to grow food? I don't care what you say, Alex. They don't deserve to live in that ghetto. They are completely disconnected. No high-speed transport system, no new internet. They miss out on jobs and many essential services too. Oh, hi again. What a day. I had to make an emergency visit to the Cry Freedom ghettos. I mean, I miss my sister like mad, but I'm glad they went when they moved to New Amsterdam. They're safe from climate change on the floating city. That must be her now. It's much easier to meet up with friends virtually now. So many cities have banned cars in central areas. Ooh, looks like she's got some juicy gossip.